Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode, a brand new season of Video Ditch. As always, it's me, Sam, and I'm joined by Nick today.
That's right, we got a real great one. A lot of announcements, a lot of new things. No guests, so I know people have been watching lately like, well, nothing can last that long. They got so many high profile, high concept, big thinkers. And frankly, these guys are showing themselves to be dunces, so makes sense they've been blacklisted from the indie game community. Not the case, not the case. This is intentionally a little more personal. We got a couple of things changing in the world, a couple of efforts being made, a little bit more effort being put in general.
Yeah. A little change to the production, if you would, is in the pipeline, as it were. And starting today, we're joined by a new member of the team that you won't see, but you may hear. And we got producer Chris just on the line. Play a sound, let him know you're here, Chris.
There you go.
That's
See?
right.
Look at that. Like a real radio show, like real broadcasters. Now you can know when to feel a certain way. Now you'll know that we were really funny because the sound clip will have laughter or, some shock and awe or something. Why think anymore? We do it all for you. We care, so we let you know what to think. We let you know what to feel.
Mm-hmm. We're here, spoons at the ready, just going down that throat.
Jam it down.
Aside from, the producer joining the team, I mean, what can viewers and listeners expect from this new season? Hopefully, consistency. We've been pretty good these past few
Shockingly,
weeks.
No 2-3 week, 6-month gaps.
No absences. I'd say more streams, over on Nick's Twitch.
Yeah, Sam has to do it now.
Yeah, we've been streaming Dead Rising 2, so you could look forward to that.
We've been building a bit of a meta-narrative for those of you who are into live-action D&D, my least favorite thing. We're essentially doing that, but there's something interesting to look at while it's happening. There's a lot of slicing and dicing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The exploration of a complicated man, Is he a bad father? Is he a gambling addict? Only time will tell.
A lot you can do with a blank slate, but don't want to give too much away. Also,
Exactly.
The reintroduction of the betting system, which we introduced and then immediately Welsh on, not me because I won, and I made a hell of a fucking call on that bet.
It's
but
true.
That's not
I
really...
will say, Nick followed through on his punishment, and I'll say it. I ducked out like a coward, but maybe it was for fear of offending the wrong people.
Offending who?
Those
swagapinos.
Yeah, I can't do it in good conscience.
Yeah, so we'll be starting it a little bit smaller, but there will be punishment, there will be torment, and maybe down the line, maybe you, the viewer, will determine who gets truly raked over the coals. Kind of like the dunk tank at the fair, but we make the target real big, real wide, easy to hit.
Yeah. And just a reminder, if you're listening, I guess by the time this episode goes up, the scary story contest will have happened already, huh?
It will have already happened,
Okay.
and I'll probably put some clips from it in here.
So, hopefully
there it was. Whoa, wasn't that scary?
Awesome.
Ah!
Whoa! Terrifying.
Speaking of scary.
Yeah. Speaking of today's show, yeah. Because, really, there's not much more to talk about what's coming, unless you want to reflect on this past year of Video Ditch. Any highs? I was gonna ask you if there were any lows, but I didn't want to bother. It's like don't focus on that.
Yeah. Goodbye and good riddance to the first 10 or so episodes. Although, there was a certain charm to it, I've been told. Our completely, what's the word? Structureless conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Some people like that. Some people laugh at that. It's all building up the homunculus, the golem. It was at first shifting clay, and now it's becoming somewhat like a stone. Somewhat like a series of stones.
Animate,
Yes.
I'd like to think that I don't sound asleep anymore, I listen to some old episodes, it's like, god damn.
Yeah.
So
It's true. He's awake.
Hopefully the energy's here. I think the video component has helped a lot.
Yeah, it makes you
frankly.
look at the other person. It adds a lot when you realize that there's another person.
And you're not walking on each other all the time. You're speaking over each other. It's great.
Anyways,
All right. So, today's show, it's October 19th, 2023. And
very scary.
yeah, very scary. As you can see in Nick's background, he's
Yeah,
spooky.
need an
spooky
exterminator. Am I right?
and hopefully the video is picking me up, kind of
Yeah,
incorporeal
he died.
over here. Yeah. Yeah, also season 2 update. I'm dead. And yeah, today's show, there was this indie horror showcase. I want to ask you about, my first question is, did you recognize any of this presented by list? Presented by
Not
Dread XP, horror
Dread
visuals,
XP. I
and
do
the
know.
mix.
I am a big fan of Dread XP. Actually, they make great
Okay.
horror games. They were kind of like the first people that were doing like the 64-bit low poly PS1
Okay,
and 64
yeah.
style stuff before it became like super oversaturated. I don't know if you noticed, but like every other game.
I wanted to talk
Well,
about
no,
that.
I'd say 90% of it was N64 style graphics, which I think is actually perfect. I don't have a problem with that at all.
No, I
I
think
think
it's
I think
yeah.
the low poly really gets through the uncanny feeling that you can only get from a scary game. That's kind of lost with the hyper realism.
Yeah. I mean, do you want to start there with the trends you saw without getting into specific games? Because that N64 PS1 visual style was ubiquitous across
It's great.
so many titles. This was 2 hours of trailers. Some very short, some were 15, 30 seconds, but others were meatier. But
Yeah, I mean, obviously biased, but it seemed like every single trailer was custom made. Like every person, every director, every group, whatever you want to call it, was told oh, you want to be on the indie horror showcase? You should make a little 30-second thing. Maybe like the big high-profile games like World of War, they were probably told you can have a minute, you can have a minute, minute, 2 minutes, whatever. But yeah, it really seemed like they just kind of got the parts of the game they want to show off, made it as wild and crazy, Blair Witch, analog horror, Wendigoon analysis video, fucked up kind of thing they could get, and then they release it. And I really like that. I like that kind of trailer way more than the corporate trapped in a world with only a ghost to help you. This unlikely duo
Nintendo
might have
Direct
been
style.
yeah.
Totally.
I think it's the way to go for something like this. So this was actually, I would say, my favorite series of announcements, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it, press conference, E3, Direct. My favorite one this entire year. The most
Yeah, I'd say.
satisfying.
It did seem like some of the shit was just tailor made for you.
I know, literally for me.
Yeah, it was very cool to see. I think what the showcase made me feel more so than the decade of indie gaming before this. I feel like games are being made by people our age now, and there's this kind of shared nostalgia, right?
Yes.
Where it's oh, now that's being represented, in a way that wasn't really present for me with the 8 and 16-bit kind of throwback games. I always appreciated that, but it wasn't it doesn't have the same psychological place.
Exactly. That's
It's
exactly
these visual styles,
what I was
yeah.
thinking about. Is that it's all the people that grew up with that same era, people who got the N64 first, not the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And it kind of made me think in 10 years, are there going to be people making PS360 aesthetic games that's going to
That's
be retro?
Oh. Yeah. It shocks me. But yeah, I guess I was thinking about the percentage of people that actually play through all the shit that we cover. I'm we're such a small percent of a population of a population.
With the niche in the niche, yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, that's all good. With the kind of focus on this retro aesthetic PS1 N64 era vibe, is there any fear or hesitation for you that developers might forget to make a fun game by overcommitting
absolutely.
to
I would say
this
that
aesthetic?
as many notes as I wrote down, as many things that stood out to me, there were just as many where looking at it, it was this looks kind of interesting. This looks like whatever, but it looks despite its appearance, I feel like it would just kind of play default Unity game.
Yeah.
Like it
Okay.
seemed the movement, the
Mm-hmm.
camera, everything it doesn't seem that crazy to me. All the ones that were like you play as a telephone operator and a guy calls you and his house
Yeah.
is full of beads that have mold. I'm like that's cool, that's new, that's something I've never experienced before. But then the ones like walking around in a black and white city and then a black shadow runs at you. It's like this is kind of
Mm-hmm. It's kind of low effort, right?
it's not. It's just like nothing. Nothing that I'm looking for. It's not the kind of inspirational, high concept game that
Okay.
I'm on the prowl for. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you kind of understand what I was saying with that. Yeah. Yeah. But my fear is that they'll just, not make fun games. They'll just be super basic, or it'll be lazy, and just like we'll throw on the aesthetic because that's what's popular now,
Hmm.
and then just like run that into the ground. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
I don't think so with horror. Well, not with this kind of horror. Mascot horror. That's definitely the be all and end all. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
there is no mascot horror game that isn't like inherently designed to sell merchandise to
Yeah.
children. Like if you go to any flea market or state fair, there's gonna be like 1,000 fucking bootleg Huggy Wuggy dolls. Kids love that shit. They love Sesame Street but with sharp teeth. Sesame Street but
Mm.
fucked up.
I see. I see. I see. Uh, another trend I saw was like fixed camera angles. They're like making a comeback. Was there any specific title that like stood out to you using it? Because
I mean, I don't even like fixed camera angles. I don't even like
okay,
classic Resident Evil.
we
Uh,
have mentioned this before. At least they're not bringing back like tank controls, right? No one was like,
one of
we're
them
going
was.
all the way back. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
One
I
of them was. I
chime
remember.
in.
Oh,
Oh, by all
here we
means.
go.
There's
First
actually
appearance.
a game that came out not too long ago that uses fixed camera angles, that kind of PS1, PS2 era aesthetic called Signalis, I think. I don't know if you've seen it.
Yes, I have. Sci-fi.
That one was an interesting. Yeah, it's like sci-fi horror type of
Yeah.
deal.
I want to
Worth
pick it up.
checking out. It's on
Okay.
Game Pass. Hmm.
Oh.
Worth trying.
Maybe.
It
So
is
Greatest value in gaming.
this actual like out of horror type of game. This is the spookiest thing I've played in years by miles. So
Wow.
worth checking
okay.
out.
I feel like I haven't been scared in a long time by a game.
All right.
I think since like 2017.
What
Hmm.
game?
That is a good
Was that
question,
when
yeah.
Resident Evil 2 remake came
I had to say the same thing.
out? Yeah, that's the
Um,
last game that like scared the shit out of me was Resident
mhm.
Evil 2 remake. I was hoping Phasmophobia would scare me, but it's mostly waiting after you get killed for no reason.
Yeah.
It's yeah, the fact that there's like grinding. I feel like the only thing that's missing is an
Grinding.
ELO. It's like how Dead by Daylight. I don't think it's supposed to be what it's become, where it's like a skill
It's about
competitive.
juking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all about like fucking up the killer or like trying to
Mhm.
prove how good you are at the game by killing all the survivors in really obnoxious ways.
Yeah.
It's like a very much not a horror title anymore.
It's just using the aesthetics, yeah. It's yeah, it's kind of like what I was telling you about the Callisto Protocol because I tried that out and
Not
it's like
scary, right?
impossible to be scared because you're just like pull out your fucking stun baton. It's like, "Urgh!
Yeah,
Gonna
I
go
think
smash some necromorphs."
that's like an issue just with the modern gaming sphere with the look too. Nothing that looks like ray traced. I feel like is ever can be scary.
I mean, Resident Evil 2 remake looked great and was scary.
That's the exception, I guess. That's the exception to the rule. You got me there.
Yeah.
That game did
But no,
make
I
me
get you. I get
scream.
you. It's like the big budget sensibilities
Yes,
prevent like true horror from happening, um, especially in like this sphere. Oh, here we go.
I think yeah, the reluctance to like take away player control to allow an actual
Mhm.
feeling of vulnerability and weakness. The fact that that's like, oh, that's bad game design. The gamer wants to feel like God 24/7. That's what Skyrim did, and Skyrim still sells.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and I think that's the great thing about the games that were showcased today is that in the indie scene you can do these things. You can disempower the player because it's an audience that's looking for that sort of thing.
yes.
Um,
So hopefully someday they will break back into the mainstream.
into
Hopefully
the
someday
mainstream.
these things will be allowed to be created
Mhm.
again for a mass audience.
That's an interesting thing to wonder. Like, but what would break into the mainstream? Because you never know. Who knows what it's going to be next? The next big thing is rather. Were there any titles specifically that you wanted to bring up? Because granted, I only got through about like an hour of the presentation, but I think I saw enough, and there were a few of those
there's a
early
lot.
trailers that I liked. But if you want to take it away, because you probably got more.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, right off the bat, there was. Did you see the super rare horror mixtape thing they were selling? It's just like a USB with a bunch of horror games on it.
No, I didn't.
It's basically they're just doing like a physical release for all these shorter indie games. It's like I don't even know, a lot of games on like a
Okay.
mixtape kind of themed USB, like DRM free type of thing. You get all
Fun.
these indie games. You pay a little bit of money, you get all this cool stuff, you know. And it's also, of course, like, oh, and there's only 1,500 in the world, so order now. Very, very exclusive, very underground. I want
Yeah.
one, obviously, but I'm
That
probably
sounds
not
cool.
gonna bother.
That also sounds kind of like I don't know, appropriately on theme somehow. Like it's like a spooky, haunted.
Yeah,
You know,
they're leaning into the underground thing. Like,
Yeah.
ooh, next up we've got the indie snuff film USB.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, some of those games are basically like anything by Puppet Combo, that Torture Star guy. Did you see the Torture Star game trailer?
Torture Star. Maybe.
He's the guy that makes those games that look like even more fucked up PS1. It's like he made like Driller Killer, he made Nun Massacre. You ever hear of any of these?
No, but
They're
it doesn't surprise me.
truly profoundly disturbing, horrific games. He has a great sense of sound design, and he knows how to make
Okay.
things look
Nice.
really disgusting and horrific with very little detail.
It gets a lot out of a little. I like
Yeah.
that. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah, so there's that. I wrote lots of PSX graphics. We already went over that. Yeah, did you see the World of Horror trailer?
No, actually, was that like in the second half?
Did you watch any
I
of
feel
this?
like I missed
This
so
is like
much.
5 minutes in. Chris,
so
play
I
the
got-
clip that says. Did I add a clip that like is telling someone to die or something? Something.
Let
Anything like
me.
that.
I'll have to
Right,
check.
because I got what I was taking notes for like game by game for about like the first 12.
Are you talking about the animated? Like they have like a full.
Yeah, the fully animated thing. It's like it starts with you dying. It's like all the protagonists getting fucked up horrifically by horrible monsters. It's very cool.
Run the clip. No, I saw 1000 Cross Resist or whatever the fuck that was called. Go
Okay.
Home Annie, Sniper Killer. Sorry, we're closed.
Sniper Killer did look interesting. I forgot to write it down, but
Okay.
I was into
That was the first. That was the first title in the showcase that like.
Yeah, at
actually
first
broke.
I was hoping it was like a what's his name, John F. Hinckley simulator or something, because it's like you're in your disgusting house and you're like, oh, the CIA needs me to do another mission. been itching for one. I was like, oh my god, you're like a psycho
Psychopath.
loser who's being used by the CIA to kill people
Yeah.
because they'll just think you're crazy. But then it's like, oh, you're a detective. It's like,
You're a
are you the
detective,
same
yeah.
guy? Are you investigating your own crimes?
Mhm.
Like the Hotline Miami 2 kind of subplot, like that could be good. I'm interested in that. It wasn't like, something that was like, oh, I need it now.
Yeah, no,
but
no. It was
if
it was the first trailer in the show that like, began that trend of the
yeah,
PS1
snapped my
faces.
attention. I stopped, half paying attention, playing hostess mode, and I was like, oh, real
GoldenEye faces was the note I wrote down.
golden eye faces.
Yeah,
They had
like
disgusting, like
Yeah,
3
it's-
holes for a face.
um,
Yeah, Sniper Killer did look
Sniper Killer was cool.
good. It looked interesting, which is better than good sometimes.
Yeah,
Especially for
with the
horror.
showcase, the host that was kind of tying the whole thing together. I don't want to be like an asshole to someone on the internet for no good reason, but I
But-
just I can't stand these like teleprompter reading, just super. I don't even know if it's dry is the word. It's
It
just
just
passionless.
feels artificial, and it's
Yeah.
it's like juxtaposed with like oh, I put my heart and soul into this. This is like the thing that I'm the most into. This is everything I'm all about. This is like something that I really worked hard on, combined with Wow. Now that was. Can't wait
That
to
was
play
great.
that.
Yeah. You're right. I think it is just the artifice and the disingenuity, or whatever the word would be there.
Yeah, it's like disingenuous. It's like
Yeah.
oh, I'm a big fan
I'm a big
of
gamer.
all these games.
I'm a big gamer, yeah. It's like, no, you're not.
Coming up next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, a game that I thought I wouldn't really be into was Sorry We're Closed. All right, do you remember that one?
I remember seeing the trailer for that for a different
Different showcase.
showcase
I
and
believe it,
thinking, I am not interested in this at all. I think because
Right.
it just showed like the kind of semi-anime little
yeah.
character.
It's an
It didn't really
interesting.
show any of the horrifying stuff, and this one showed a
Yeah.
lot more of the disgusting rust flesh Silent Hill world.
Yeah, definitely like Silent Hill vibes there. I think the concept with this one where you have two worlds, the note I wrote was like, oh, it's gonna be like the medium, but not shit. Hopefully. Well, we talked about like the crazy ass twist at the end of that game.
Oh yeah, it's a Bloober Team game, right? That
Yeah.
was the game
Yes,
that made
okay.
Konami say, now
Yes.
these are the guys that can remake Silent Hill 2. They understand nuance. They understand human psychology.
Yes. Yeah, it was a unique blend of art styles because they were going for the kind of retro aesthetic, but they didn't commit so hard as like Sniper Killer did, right? Where there's like very little detail.
Disgusting. Looked like PS1 gameplay recorded on a VHS.
Yeah. What do you think of the shooting mechanics, like getting it pulled into the first person perspective?
Yeah. Don't like tank controls, obviously. The arcade shooter aspect.
Arcade shooter is what he called it.
Yeah,
in
just
the
first
film.
person mode.
Yeah.
You know,
That didn't like evoke Killer 7 to you? That's what it did for me, but
Well, Killer 7's on rails, Sam.
it is on rails, yeah.
So
but,
it's not
but
quite
like
the same.
when you go into the gun mode.
Not really, because I'm not afraid of these monsters. Maybe I will be. Maybe I didn't see like the really scary ones, but Heaven Smiles, the first time I played Killer 7, were fucking horrifying to me.
They are unsettling I
That
think, to this
game,
day.
Killer 7, I think is Grasshopper's best horror game. Like
I
nothing
gotta
else
give it
they've
a go.
made really gets that sense of just like disgust and unease and fear.
Yeah. The use of black in that game is wonderful.
And the sound design too, the screaming, the laughing,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
chuckling. I should add that to the
It's,
soundboard. I should have the
Right.
Killer Smile or the Heaven Smiles little chuckle.
There you go. All right. Did you want to?
But no, it did not remind me of Killer 7.
Okay. Huh? Fair. Fair. Interesting. The demo's out now, so a lot of these games actually had demos out now, which is always appreciated.
Yeah, it's either demo out now or game releases like tomorrow. Game releases
Yeah.
like November 3rd.
I really enjoyed the opportunity that the showcase gave for developers to just it's their shit, they probably just like sent it in, Doesn't feel like it's been filtered through corporate shit.
Exactly.
It's like their
Exactly.
voice, which is nice.
It's the same, when seeing the Anton Blast trailer amongst all these very, like you said, corporate trailers. Like, oh wow, yeah, this is something. Someone made this. Someone had a vision. Someone had direction. They had meaning when they made this, and the meaning was to make me laugh.
Yeah, and it worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Okay. Any other specific games you want to dive into? Because I have
Yeah.
a couple.
Yeah, did you get far enough to see into like very obviously alternate like analog horror influence games? Like the two big ones I wrote down were regular home renovation sim, Teleforum, and home safety hotline in particular.
I saw Teleforum. I got to Teleforum, so
Yeah,
I saw kind of that vibe, if that's what you're describing.
yeah, just the kind of like the analog horror thing on YouTube, right? It's like little
Like
clips
like-
of people talking, and then they're like, "Oh, I sure hope the scary screaming face man doesn't show up." It's like kind of Blair Witch, like they're just
Okay.
holding their phone camera up and over. He's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, don't even joke about the big scary screaming face man." And they turn around, the big scary screaming face, and the man is looking at them like. And then you hear, "Whoa!" And they drop the camera. It's like that.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Or it's like, demons interacting through AOL.
Yeah.
A demon message you on
Yeah.
AIM to be like, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, this is
And they're
your
like,
fault.
who is this?
Yeah, creepypasta vibes. for
Exactly,
sure.
exactly. It's like a modern thing that's picking up, and it's interesting
Yeah.
to see it in games. I'm interested to see how that
Mm-hmm.
plays out. There's actually a game from the Indie World event that's going on right now. Desktop Explorer was going through the same thing. It's like a fake OS,
Yeah.
and as you progress
Yeah.
through it, it like is haunted or something. It's like coming to life. It had actually one really good scare at the end of the demo. That I didn't shit myself, but it did startle me.
Good. Good. Yeah, with Teleforum, just that weird like surreal FMV game almost vibes to some of these visuals that I got. It's interesting.
Yeah, like kind of Sega CD, like what it could have been.
Yeah. I liked El Paso Somewhere. I think that's out now, and it's kind of been generating buzz
Yeah.
since
I no opinion, to be honest.
you're not a fan of like old Max Payne.
It just didn't seem like what I was looking for, you know?
I mean, it's fair. It's definitely
I'm
like
sure
much
it's
more action oriented.
An enjoyable game,
Scary.
but that's the
Yeah.
thing. It just didn't look like it would be scary at all.
Totally. It was just like a shoot dodge kind of game. and
Exactly.
I love that.
It's Max Payne while he's going crazy. It's Max Perk.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's already Max Perk. That guy is just downing.
You see it
painkillers
through
all
his
the
eyes.
time, Yeah. I took a note on Hellpunk. Do you remember that? I think not so much Hellpunk. Just I feel like there were a lot of those trailers that were just like a hard pitch in 30 seconds, and it's just like wish list now.
Yeah, not a
kind of
lot
thing.
shown. Really, no gameplay, but like a lot of visuals. A lot of wouldn't you
A lot
like to
of
see
that.
this fleshed out? It's in early access. We'll add
right.
gameplay.
Hellpunk was like decapitations and shit. So I was like,
No.
oh, but
Could be cool. There
could be
was
cool.
there was a couple of games where the only game that was like basically just like this could be something that had literally nothing at all was that game Horses. They showed very briefly. It's just like footage of horses in black and
Footage of the
white,
horses. Yeah, I saw that. I was
and then there's like a bunch
cursory
of
glance. Yeah.
little guys watching with horse head masks, and like, oh, cuts out, horse face, cuts back, they're all dead. I put that down, but that's just because horses in real life scare me. I don't like horses. I don't
They are
like
unsettling.
their eyes. They are fucked up and weird to me. They make me feel ill. So I wrote down that one. It could be good. It could be bad. I don't know. I personally, I think it will have a stronger effect because I already don't like horses.
You already find the subject.
I
matter
already
unsettling.
find it sick.
Yeah.
So crazy to me. People who are like, horses are even better than dogs. Psychopath.
Psychopaths.
Psychopathic thing to say.
For all you horse people out there,
They're not
Yeah,
listening.
yeah,
They would
yeah.
never listen to this. For all you horse people who love indie horror games, for all you fans of Puppet Combo and other classics of like Nun Massacre, I got a message for you.
yeah, get out of town. I wanted to bring up Sucker for Love.
Oh
because
yeah, you
that
know
was
what?
that was the first trailer I saw. You brought it up when we talked about your visit to PAX.
That's right.
This was leaning more into horror than I expected.
It's.
I don't know if it will
I
actually
feel like
be
the
like
trailer,
anything.
based on what we played, was a little deceptive in how much action and how much horror there actually is in the game.
Okay.
Either that
There you go.
or the demo we played at PAX was deceptive with how much is a Eldritch horror dating sim. But I feel like they had
Yeah,
a lot
'cause
of
the
quick
trailer-
cuts and they had a lot of like peeking behind the door,
Yeah.
that kind of
it
thing.
was-
which
Like that-
isn't
I don't know.
really a mechanic. Maybe it becomes a
Yeah.
mechanic. Who knows?
Yeah, it didn't seem like dynamic gameplay, but it was
Right.
it was just an odd
But it was a
like, tone
cool.
for
It was
me.
an interesting trailer. But
Yeah.
I feel like they did kind of know their audience to go for more of a horror action slant, more so than is actually present when you play the game.
Yeah.
Kind of like if they made a game called AOL Simulator, it's like a bunch of hard cuts and snap zooms to like cursor going to X, going to friend.
Yeah. Just some severe looking icons on screen.
Exactly.
Let's see. I wrote about plastomorphosis because
Oh,
it
the
has
mannequin?
a dumb name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
It's
mean, don't want to drag him, but I thought it was not my favorite name. But it had the trailer was given Silent Hill 2 vibes just with the way the narrator was like, "I'm waiting for you," you know.
yes, I got that. It
All that
looks.
shit, yeah.
I can't tell. It's like promising in a way where I can't tell if it would be very scary and good, or a complete waste of time. But I feel like it's gonna end up being one or the other.
That's
There's like
the toss up with these.
no in between.
Yeah. You know. Much like gaming during that era, you know, is this game
Yes.
gonna be a piece of shit?
Is this
I
$60
guess
I'm
they're
gonna
really
spend
capturing it.
going to be the worst waste of money in my life, or is it going to permanently shape my thoughts and dreams and aspirations? There's no in between.
Exactly. So it's high stakes for these devs, but also not because I wonder. Oh, that might be unfair. Maybe these games do cost a bit to produce, but
Yeah, plus time. Time is
Time.
money.
yeah, true. True. All right. I had notes on Hunt the Night, if you remember that one. It's kind of top-down action, kind of gave me Castlevania aesthetic.
Yeah.
but
No,
with the
there's-
ponytail character.
to be honest, there was only one action game that really popped out to me.
Okay, yeah. Which one was it?
Oh, well, I don't think you got there. It was pretty far. It was Slave Zero X.
Slave Zero X.
It looked
Alright,
like
tell me about it.
it looked like a unreleased Saturn game in a very specific way. Yeah, it looked.
Is this like Mecha at all, or?
not really. The guy you play as kind of looks like a robot thing. He's got a big ass sword. But you're like it's like a 2D sprites for the main combat, and then there's like
Okay,
these
yeah.
big ass 3D models. It's like something I only really saw in like PS1 JRPGs and Saturn games. It's the combination of like very detailed anime style sprites.
Yeah.
And
Okay, I do remember seeing a trailer for
Decent.
this earlier as well.
like Final Fantasy 9 level 3D. Like
Mhm.
Xenogears, I guess.
Yeah. Very apt.
But yeah,
kind
they-
of like that. Yeah, it's like a crude 3D anime.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of N64 stuff. This is the first one that looked Saturn-esque.
Okay. Yeah.
So that interested me, and it looked like the only action horror game that actually would have any horrifying appeal or appearance.
Mhm.
So that was
Yeah.
interesting.
The initial trailer that they dropped is very action heavy, but I could see them doing more with the setting. But I think I'd also just be pleased if it was just horror aesthetics and like really tight action.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. And it looks cool. I like how cool it looks. If it's not gonna scare me, it should look cool.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's really like all my picks. I think I stopped watching around normal fishing. I was like, what is?
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yes, that one was a little annoying. Yeah, when they're like, this normal fishing game isn't very normal, and then it doesn't really show you anything that crazy. Like nothing you would expect. Like, oh, the guy goes, he gets dead-eyed. And that's,
Yeah. Appealing color palette,
Something.
if it's the one I'm remembering.
yeah, the 1-bit kind of
Yeah.
classic Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, outside that, there's just System Shock 2 remastered, enhanced edition. I think people have been waiting for that for a long time.
Okay.
Haven't they?
Yeah. I know Night Dive did the remake of System Shock,
Yeah.
and I'll probably pick that up when it comes to console.
Yeah, it's a good game. It's like BioShock, but in space, essentially, for those who don't know what System
Right.
Shock 2 is.
I feel like I don't know. I never felt like BioShock was an immersive sim. Kind of like
No, it's a first-person shooter.
yeah. When people lump it in with like shit like that.
No, not at all. No,
Oh,
please.
Good. 'Cause it always grinds my gears.
He would never be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with J.C.
Uh-oh.
Denton.
right?
How embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that and Anti-Real. It looked kind of like Psychonauts, but fucked up instead of cartoony and funny.
Oh, okay.
Like-
Was still a 3D platformer?
I don't know what it is,
Oh, okay.
but it
That
looks
was also another trend in this showcase is not like getting
not
full
very
gameplay
clear
pictures.
what's going on. Yeah, but that's it's cool. It's good. It could be anything. Could be something entertaining. And what more could you hope for in this
That's
world?
funny. Some people find that so irritating.
And
I hate these fucking teasers that tease me.
that's the whole point. You want to feel intrigue. As long as you feel intrigue, I feel like the worst thing a trailer can do is make you say, you know, the worst thing it can do is be like, now I know for a fact I'm not interested.
That is the kiss of death.
Yeah.
For any trailer. Yeah.
So right track.
Well, I'm glad that the showcase was actually stuff that appealed to you.
I think this is the only time I've seen something and said, "Wow, that was great." I feel so positively.
Yeah. Do you have any game on the list that's like you're most excited for, or is it just a general feeling of
Just all
I'm
the,
glad that
all
this
the ones I
trend
listed.
is...
I mean, I'm glad that this exists. I'm glad that people were able to make these trailers and they were able to like put out something like that was actually interesting to watch. Too bad about the being interspersed with like an actual person sometimes, but what can you do?
Yeah.
Let's say if there's one that I would have to pick above any other, probably Home Safety Hotline. That one looks like it could get really fucked up and crazy.
Okay.
It kind
What's the draw aside from that?
You're like a telephone operator. People are calling you saying that their house is fucked up or like something's happening, like someone's broken in perhaps. Kind of like a 911 operator simulator, but with seems to have like a horror supernatural slant.
Okay, kind of like old web page aesthetic.
Exactly, yeah, like AOL, Web 1.0, that kind of thing.
Hearing noises, seeing things, call Home Safety Hotline. Okay, interesting. It looks like it delves into the supernatural.
Yes, thank God. If
Yeah.
it was just like actual 911 calls,
Yeah,
it
it's
wouldn't be
like-
that fun.
Right.
If
Like,
it was
first
just
thought, I
like,
was
oh,
okay,
my
so guys,
stepfather dropped the baby in the boiling water. It's like, oh, well. I mean, that's
God damn it.
scary, I guess,
yeah, pull
but
him out. Yeah.
I was hoping for a ghoul or a ghast.
Okay. Home Safety Hotline.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. I think that'll be good.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's... Oh, there's a demo, so you could even try it.
I just might. I think, yeah,
Perfect.
I was thinking I gotta pick one of these games. I'll just get some gameplay of that and slamp it back here, you know?
Yeah, totally. And I suppose, unless you got any closing thoughts, this is going to be a short one this week. But yeah, do you have any closing thoughts on the showcase? Any burning desire to say something to get off your chest?
They should have more stuff like this. They should have more stuff that's interesting. I think they had like a retro-esque showcase a while ago or something. Do you remember that? Was it even retro, or were there just so many like N64 style platformers?
Realms Deep happened earlier.
Was that
like
it?
3D Realms thing. Yeah, and there's a lot of.
Whichever one had
it's
like
more like
the-
boomer shooters though. Like if
it was
this was
like the
indie
one that
horror,
had like
was-
the banjo clone kind of games. That looked
Oh
interesting.
yeah.
That
You
gave kind of the
messaged
same
Discord
feeling.
about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I liked that. But this in particular felt like it was. Maybe it's just because it more fell in line with everything I want instead of a grab bag. But
Yeah.
if
Yeah,
more people
very,
could
very
do
good.
things that fall directly in line with the things that I like and the things that I want, that'd be great.
Tis the spooky season, so ask and you receive.
Mhm.
All right. And with that, I think we can get to.
Viewer questions. Oh, there aren't
Oh,
any.
no.
Trash.
I was going to say that the first wager of season 2.
Right, and this will come to fruition. We don't have a choice.
Yes. I guess. Well, the wager is it's going to be because this week Super Mario Wonder.
That's
is what it's
right.
called, and Spider-Man 2 came out this week, or is coming out today in a couple hours. And next week, Nick and I will be checking the average review score, right? Or like the highest. Yeah.
It's like
You
the
know,
same
you know
level
how
as,
it
as
goes.
betting on, I don't even know, box office numbers. Like, will
Yeah, exactly.
will
Exactly.
Avatar
Who had
2
a better
break the Titanic record?
Exactly. Who had the better opening weekend? Nick and I are going to claim a camp, and then the loser will have to create the theme song, the new theme song for season 2.
So hopefully it's not me, because it's going to sound like shit.
And yeah, if you think of any devious stipulations, I'm sure we'll update before we say the results next
Yeah.
week. But I am pledging to Team Spider-Man, so throw it up on the screen. You know, my face
Man, I
is
got
Spider-Man or something like
I got
that.
Mr. Saturn. I got Kirby. I got fucking the most obnoxious jack you've ever seen in your life. I got Ness. All this Nintendo shit. I can't deny what I am, you know?
That's right. So Nick is firmly in Team Mario. So
Just
tune in next week.
another Nintendo falling in line, following my programming.
Yes, tune in next week, and you'll see the exciting results of this, and potentially by the time that episode goes up, we might have our new theme song.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, Nick, yeah, anything else you wanna plug? Anything else you wanna say?
You know what? You can find us, as always, on Twitter, Twitch. We have a link tree now, which I don't think, which should be on everything by the time this comes out. But yes, as always, I am Somebody Stop Me on every single platform you can conceive of. If it's that name is on there, 2 eyes at the end, that's probably me. Sam is the Super Sammy
Super Sammy Com, yeah,
on Twitter.
Find me on Twitter. We have an Instagram now, right?
That's
Video
right.
Dish has an Instagram.
For some reason,
on there, you know, you can follow us. I think we have a TikTok now as well.
We do. Just why
yeah.
not? You know,
Yeah,
just
part
go
of the season 2.
Go whole hog.
festivities.
Just go.
Exactly.
Just dive straight into all the social media. Just download it all. Be a part of all of it. Why not? Everyone else is doing it. If you're not doing it, you're doing something wrong, I guess. Eventually,
yeah.
one person will like it.
Exactly. Please engage with us. Engage in the conversation. We'd love to hear anybody's thoughts. And if you got hey, we have a voice line. You got questions you can send in to the email. We'll link it all below. Really, thanks for listening today. We got a lot to look forward to with this new season, and we will catch you next time.
Yeah, the next one will be longer. Don't worry, it's fine. You know,
Yeah,
it's all right.
yeah.
This probably got you to your drive to work. Okay, you're welcome.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.